Good morning, students. So, in my sixth class of Linux system administrations, I'm going to discuss details about some other important commands and issues. So, here, first, if we see how we create a group. So, we have already discussed about groups. For this, we need to create groups before creating any account. Otherwise, we make use of existing group in our system. So we have all groups listed in the /etc/groups file. So all the default groups are system account specific groups, and it is not recommended to use them for ordinary accounts. So following is the syntax to create a new group account. So here group add there's zid group id, and there's zero other group, and read there's r, and there's a group name. So this following command is used to create new group. So here what happens, there's zid, the numerical value of group's id. So there's 0 is option permit to add group with non-unique zid. There's r, which is this flag instruct group to add the system account. There's this option use just exit with class with success status if the specific group already exists, with dash g if specific GID already exists, other unique GID system, and group name, actual group name is to be created. If we don't specify any parameter, then the system makes use the default values. For example, following group add developers. So then we create a developer group with default values. So now if we want to modify a group, then modify a group, use the command group mode syntax. So this command group mode modify. So group mode there's n new modified group name and old group name to change the developers to group and to developers group. So group mode and developer 2. So this is one is used to modify the group. And delete a group. If we will now understand how to delete a group. To delete an existing group, we use the command group del command, group delete del, and the group name group del developer removes the groups, not the files associated with that groups. The files are still accessible by their owners. So now create account. How we create account? So let's just see how to create a new account in our Unix or Linux system. Following syntax is used. For example, user add, there's the home directory, there's z group name, there's m, there's s cell, there's user id, account name. The following table list of the parameter. These commands create what happens here. If we see the command syntax in description, so there's the home directory, specific home directory for the account, and there's z group name, specifies group account for the for this account. There's m creates home directory if it does not exist. There's s cell, specify the default cell for this account. There's user id, we can specify user id for this account. Account name, actual account name to be created. If we don't specify any parameter, then the system use default values. For example, the user add commands modifies the /etc this password or this etc said or the group files and creates a home directory. So following are the example to create account MC Muhammad setting, this is so home, this is developer. So user add this the home MC Muhammad developer in this command. So this is the group. So once account is created, we can set its password using password command. So password, then the MC Momo 20. So changing password for user Momo to new user, new Unix password, so retype password and successfully this. In this way, we can use the password account name. It gives us an option to change the password, provide us super user. Otherwise, we can change just the password using the same. So modify an account. So the user mode command enables us to make changes to an existing account from the command line. So it uses the same arguments as user add commands plus L arguments. For example, to change the account. So this is this. So this user would delete an account. So user del command is used to delete the existing user account. So .r also. So this. In this way, we can manage the user account and delete user options. So, and now if we see the major resources of Unix or Linux, we have CPU, memory, disk space, communication lines, IO time, network time, application programs. So some performance. So following our table list of 5 major components: system line, system time. So component and user state CPU is actual amount of time the CPU spend running the user's program in the user state. So user state CPU. Similarly, system state CPU. This time is amount. This is the time amount of time the CPU spend in system state on behalf of this program. All input output within requires kernel services. So input output time and network time. This is the amount of time spent moving data servicing IO request. Virtual memory programs. This include context switching and sweeping. Application program. This time spent running other programs when the system is not servicing this. So performance tools. Unix provide following important tools to measure Unix performance. So nice and very nice. So this is the command runs a program with modified scheduling priority. Net state. So prints network connection, routing tables, interface statistics, medical. So net states. This is the command. Time. This helps time simple command to give resource uses. Uptime. This is the system load average. PS. Report the snapshot of the current process. PM state. Report the virtual memory statistics. GP roof. GP roof displays the graph profile data. Proof. Facilitated processing profile. Process profiling. Top. Display the system task. So these are some basic commands which is using Linux or Unix operating system. So Unix system have a very flexible and powerful logging system which enables us to record almost everything we can imagine, and they are manipulated and then manipulate logs and to retrieve the information we require. So many versions of Unix provide general purpose logging facility called syslog. SYSLOG. Individual programs that need to have information logged send the information to syslog. So Unix syslog is a host configurable uniform system logging facility. The system uses a centralized system logging process which runs the program /etc/syslog d or syslog. The operation of the system logger is quite straightforward. The programs send their log entries to syslog d, which consult the configuration file /etc/syslogd.config or /etc/slog, and when the match is found, write the log message into the desert log file. Therefore, basic syslog terms we should understand. So, which is one is facility, the identifier used to describe the application process that submitted log message. Priority, an indicator of the importance of the message. Levels are defined within syslog as guidelines. Selector, a combination of one or more facilities and levels. Actions, what happens to an incoming message that matches a selector. So this is important about syslogs. Syslog facilities. We will now understand about syslog facilities. Here The available facilities for selector. Not all facilities are present on version of Linux or Unix. So first one, auth activity related to request name and password, authenticity. Then next, number 2, auth private. Same the auth but block the file that can only read by selected users. Next, console, used to capture messages that are generally directed to the system console. Number 4, cron, 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 message from the cron system and scheduler. 5, daemons, system daemons cache, FTP, message relating to FTP daemons. Kernel message, local 0, local 7, local facilities. So LPR, message from the line printing system. So thank you. This is my class.